Students in Professor Fredo Rivera's class, Introduction to Art History, were invited to create a video in response to an artwork featured in Grinnell College Museum of Art's exhibition, Let Yourself Continue. Curated by Associate Director Daniel Strong, this exhibition includes more than 50 women artists from the museum's collection and was organized to commemorate the centennial of the 19th Amendment. In this video, we'll hear from Caroline and Sumin speaking about work by Dana Schutz.
Dana Schutz is a contemporary artist who combines comedy and dread, cubist abstraction, and colorful expressionism to rearrange logical frameworks of the world in impossible ways. Focusing on feelings rather than art as a reflection of culture, Schutz aims to build effective space in her work.
Today, we're looking at Self-Eater from 2005, and this woodcut print is really a lot to unpack. What are some of your first impressions when you look at this artwork?
The first thing I notice about this gory, colorful print is that, despite being very abstract, every little choice of shape and color adds to this overwhelming expression of the subject. These violent, sharp, red lines connect from the similar orange lines contouring the face and render blood streaming from the mouth and hands. The overlapping opaque and translucent shapes fall into their roles of highlight and shadow, bloodied arms and fingers that twist and bend and tightly grip the ground.
Absolutely, there's so much movement in this piece. The whole body is distorted as if it swirled around a center point, and that point seems to be where the figure's mouth belongs. But the mouth is even more abstracted than other forms, suggested only by gaps in color and by the direction of blood lines. But rather than making this feel absent, it makes the mouth feel all-encompassing.
Definitely, the viewer feels consumed by this mouth, much like the figure consuming itself.
Yeah, you mentioned this idea of consuming oneself, and that idea is supported by this general swirling motion in the artwork. There are many elements here that interact with each other in interesting ways, such as self-empowerment versus the self as an abyss, or self-creation versus self-harm, and so on. These really push and pull with each other and feed to the cyclical feeling of the work, which revolves around the idea of the self.
Wow, those are great points. Now in this composition of so much chaos, there is one body part that is depicted without ambiguity, but rather clearly, and that is the eyes. The irregular black and olive shapes forming the eyes mimic quivering, wondering eyes upon experiencing very heavy physical and emotional overload.
I'm glad you mentioned the eyes, because the huge beady pupils fully circumscribed in the white downward crescent shapes really draw my attention. Although far from realistic, it's the only body part that is depicted without ambiguity.
And that seems to be one of Schutz's ways of declaring the subject's full presence in the moment and its agency.
And this agency defines the tone and subject of this work.
Exactly. This work is full of ambiguity, but recognizing this agency clears up some questions and resolves some of the ambiguity.
Right. And when we talk about ambiguity, we're talking about how the happy colors and even the natural scenery of the trees contrast with implied blood and dismemberment. And this raises questions about what Self-Eater describes. Is it about violence or empowerment? And can the two coexist? The figure's agency implies that they can. Sometimes self-exploration or self-creation may look disgusting, but is truly invaluable.